Welcome to Game Point, a whole new ball game. I'm SUTV reporter Colton Poole, and joining me today are SUTV sports reporters Joel Sipper and Sam Jones, and later we'll have Mitch Johnson up on the show as well. On today's lineup, how will Bison football's 2014 recruiting class compare to this year's graduating class? Then we'll check in with our home country in Sochi Olympics, and finally we'll talk about how the NDSU basketball teams are doing and what they need to do to prepare for the Summit League tournaments in March. First up, NDSU football. NDSU has brought in some big-time recruits, guys, and this class is looking good and being compared to this year's graduating class, which is an incredible class, won three straight FCS national championships. What do you guys think about these guys?
Well, first, I mean, you look up and down, you look at their size, it's just remarkable. They got big recruits coming in. Just overall, I want to see how these guys fill in for the shoes for the seniors that left.
One thing I'm looking at is King Frazier. He did play for Nebraska briefly, had 12 carries, only 44 yards. So it's going to be probably a big transition for him going from the Big Ten down to the Missouri Valley Conference, but I think he'll be ready. He'll probably share some time with Crockett. You know, Crockett's obviously going to start, but I think he has the potential to split time with him.
And Joel, what do you think of King Frazier? How do you think he'll fit in with this Bison running game? Because obviously you've got John Crockett returning twice, 1,000-yard rusher, but he's always had Sam O'Jury when he was on the field. He was switching time off and on. Do you think that John Crockett will be a better feature back, or do you think that it'll be a good 1-2 punch with Frazier and Crockett?
Well, regardless, I think it's going to be a good 1-2 punch, but I think Crockett's going to get the bulk of the carries. I'm interested. I mean, King Frazier, he seems like just a big physical back. I want to see how they use him. It's just like for goal lines, third downs, or if they split them 50-50. It'll be interesting to see how they do that.
And Sam, what do you think? Playing back and forth between O'Jury, who was a little bit more north-south runner, compared to Crockett, who kind of was sort of a scat back. He also knew to take his holes when he had them. What do you think? How King Frazier will fit in there?
I think he'll fit in just fine. He'll eventually figure out the offense. They got spring game. They got training camp. He'll figure out the holes that he needs to get through. Crockett and O'Jury did benefit from a great offensive line. So a lot of those guys have graduated, so we do have to fill that in. But I think the guys will be ready to step up for that. I do see Crockett hopefully turning into what DJ McNorton was for us as a running back. So I'm looking to see that next year.
And NDSU head coach Chris Kleiman, in his first year, this was a good class to retain from Wyoming, who Craig Bull recruited some of these guys. Wyoming only got one guy. Let's see what Chris Kleiman said at a press conference after signing day.
We got the kids we wanted, and we got the kids that we wanted, and most importantly, and you ask any of our players on the team, you got to want to be a Bison. Something special about being a Bison.
And, this is, like I said, a solid recruiting class, but which of these guys sticks out to you?
Well, who sticks out to me is quarterback Easton Stick. He's coming in from Creighton Prep along with R.J. Urzendowski, so they're familiar with each other. Of course, he's gonna have to wait a little bit to play, but I feel like he waits a couple of years and he'll be ready. He'll fill in the quarterback hole.
And watching the highlights of Easton Stick, I mean, that guy can drop dimes.
Yeah.
And with Urzendowski there too, that was a solid passing attack. But Joel, how do you think Easton Stick will play in with Carson Wentz there? Do you think that Stick has any potential to overtake Wentz?
It's going to be interesting going into spring practice and going into fall camp. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if Chris Kleiman, if he's going to have an open quarterback competition. I mean, you'd like to see that younger guy come up and compete and sort of dethrone Carson Wentz, who is expected to start. Just, I don't know, it's a great problem to have when you have that much talent at the quarterback position. You got to choose from it.
It's definitely a good situation to be in. And like I mentioned earlier, Craig Bowl and the Wyoming coaches, Brett and Fegan, they only got one of NDSU's many recruits. They didn't obviously get them because they couldn't have contacted them. But only one transferred to Wyoming, and only a couple were lost from the head coaching transition. Sam, how do you think that NDSU was able to retain all of these recruits and keep them to the signing day?
I think that speaks volumes to what the Bison have done the last 4 seasons. I mean, obviously they didn't win it that first year, but they went 3 in a row. And I guess, like Clement said, you got to want to be a Bison, so they obviously want to be a Bison. You got King Frazier, who's already here taking classes, and Marcus Collins.
Yep.
Yes, he's here too. He graduated high school early. He's here playing, and so they really want to be here. It's something they want to be a part of. They see themselves wanting or improving their game and winning. We have a winning culture here, and that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. And going into this year now, what do you think is the biggest need on this team? I mean, the defensive line hasn't. They lost a lot of guys. Lost 3 of their starters. Lost even Danny Lukey. The only guy that they retained for a starter is Kyle Emanuel. What do you guys think is the biggest weakness of this team right now?
I think it's the battle in the trenches. You talk about the Bison brand, just ground and pound, get dirty on defense. Losing a lot of those guys, but I tell you what, too, there's a lot of guys that are in the realms waiting to get their shot. I don't know, I think that should turn out well.
I'd say probably linebacker and cornerback. I mean, Marcus Williams is gone now. Grant Olson's gone. We're gonna have to fill those spots. Obviously, people stepped up last year when they were injured, but I think I'm gonna be able to do it for the entire season. There's only a couple games they had to step up, and I'm looking to see that.
All right. Thanks, guys, for talking football. Coming up after the break, we check in with US over in Sochi and see how much hardware they are raking in. You won't want to miss it.
The future is constantly unfolding. No one knows better than those preparing for it. Every week, NDSU's student-run television organization, the Bison Information Network, brings you SU-TV News, with news about NDSU, the campus community, and current events affecting you. Watch SU-TV News on Cable 1, Channel 14, Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m.
Deeks Pizza. Prices with the student in mind. Fast delivery and conveniently open until 3 a.m. Order by phone at 701-235-0708. Order online at deekspizza.com or order with Deeks' easy-to-use mobile app. NDSU. Make Deeks your choice for pizza this semester. That's Deeks. Great pizza that won't empty your pockets.
The future is constantly unfolding. No one knows better than those preparing for it. Every week, NDSU's student-run television organization, the Bison Information Network, brings you SU-TV News, with news about NDSU, the campus community, and current events affecting you. Watch SU-TV News on Cable 1, Channel 14, Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m.
Jitters is the NDSU Campus Communities Coffee Hub. Conveniently located right next to campus, Jitters Coffee has a wide range of amenities, including comfortable seating, Wi-Fi, and an assortment of beverages. Jitters is here to meet your needs, whether you're looking to relax and socialize or study in a rich, active environment. Be sure to make your way over for your morning brew, a bite at lunch, or for a break between classes. Get your fix only at Jitters.
Hello and welcome back to the Game Point. With so many former medal winners returning to the Sochi Olympics, there are a lot of storylines expected to do well, and right now the U.S. is tied for first in for most medals. But guys, there are like I said, there are a lot of storylines, a few disappointments, a few standouts. Joel, what do you think stands out to you?
I think early on is just some of the decorated Olympians that failed to medal. You have Shaun White, just took a spill and really didn't recover it. He complained earlier about the half pipe. Just really wasn't a fan of the conditions. He didn't even medal. You have a decorated skier like Bodie Miller, kind of the bad boy of downhill skiing. He failed to medal. And then Shawnee Davis, a speed skater, he also failed to medal. He was a 2-time gold medalist in the 500-meter skating, and he didn't medal in that. And then not having the presence of Lindsey Vonn out there.
And SU TV sports reporter Mitch Johnson joins us now. Mitch, what stands out to you with these Sochi Olympics?
No, I'd have to agree with Joel. It's you just have a lot of. I mean, USA is just, they're always known for being so good in the Olympics and everything. But when you have the big names that can't even medal or anything, or they're trying, they just can't medal. It's not. I mean, it really takes a toll on the U.S. team. But I mean, they're still in it for medal count. USA. I mean, they're doing good still. I mean, they're tied for first. But I mean, it's a little worrisome. But we still have a lot of Olympics left to play. I mean, the biggest thing right now is hockey. I mean, hockey is huge all over there. So with everybody, so they have time though to regroup. So.
And like you said, hockey, U.S. women's hockey, big storyline there. Pool play, Canada versus U.S. Many figured that would be a preview game of the gold medal game. Joel, what did you see in that game, and what do you think the U.S. needs to do, because they lost in that game? What do you think they need to do to improve and try and secure the gold?
Well, obviously, it's going to be a great match if those two teams end up playing for the gold medal, but I've seen a lot of resiliency from the USA team. I mean, Canada, hands down, they're the favorites. Like, it's US and Canada at the top, and then everyone else is just tailed off. It's their tournament. Watching US, they were hanging with them the whole game. I mean, just a puck luck little shot here or there, and they could have easily won that game. As far as talking about men's side, I know it was pretty impressive. The USA team against Slovakia came out, people are saying, like, how do these North American teams do when they go over to Europe? And they've had they didn't really do well. When they went to Torino, they got 8th place when they went over there. Really just came out, played hard, beat a team that they should have by a lot. And then sort of another storyline is Canada and Norway. Canada, for being the powerhouse that they are, they were, I don't know, it was a little bit too close for comfort for most Canadians, only beating Norway 3-1.
And Mitch, what do you think stands out amongst hockey, men's and women's?
I just think the early matchups. I mean, USA plays Russia tomorrow, and that's going to be a great game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us are going to want to watch and stuff. But I just think, the big teams, USA, Canada, and Russia. Those are the 3 teams that everybody's looking at to see how they do, and I feel like that'll affect other teams. If the top 3 teams that everybody's looking at, if they're sloughing a little bit, I mean, it opens up the gate for more teams down in the lower half of the bracket to step up and really try and medal, but we'll see what happens. So.
I mean, another thing interesting with Russia too is just watching their first game against Slovenia. They definitely have home field advantage. That place was loud. They're just as crazy as Canada is in hockey.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a local story: the Lamoureux sisters and the U.S. women's hockey. What do you think? How do you think they have done so far?
I mean, they have that chemistry from playing together so far. Really, they've only played one game so far, what I've caught. They've looked solid all around, is what I see out there.
Yeah, chemistry will definitely build up within the team as you continue to play in the Olympics. I mean, the chemistry is not going to come right away, but over time, as you keep playing games, they will build chemistry. So.
Absolutely. And Joel, a little bit of a storyline in speed skating. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a little interesting. Well, you saw like all these Olympians like Shawnee Davis and other ones, they didn't even get a medal, and they're decorated Olympians. Well, anyways, there's a story that came out that these speed skating suits that they worn in the competition, that was the first time they've ever worn them in competition, and they weren't really a huge fan of it. You had athletes trying to alter their own suit a little bit just to get a little bit of an edge or just to get some comfort. And actually what's interesting right now is they actually petitioned to the IOC to actually wear the uniforms that they wore during the World Cup skating.
That's definitely a storyline to watch out for. Now, we talked about some good things. Let's talk about some bad things. What are some of the disappointments that you've seen for not only for the U.S., for this Sochi Olympics?
Something that sticks out to me is when they're doing the slope-style snowboarding, there was definitely people weren't used to the conditions. They got there and they're like, these jumps are way too high. They're insane how big they are. And like watching that, you're just in awe of seeing these guys fly 80 feet through the air. And like Shaun White, he missed out on an opportunity for a medal there. I mean, he pulled out of that event too because of safety issues. Sort of sucks for him. He pulled out of the X Games to prepare for the Olympics, and now he's going home empty-handed. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have to agree with what Joel said earlier. You have all the big names that you expect so much from them. There's such good athletes and everything, and you just see their name, they're like gold medal right there, or silver medal, whatever. When you don't even medal in your event, it's it's not a huge disappointment, but it's a little disappointing to just see that they didn't even medal. And
when you're looking at some of those lineups, you're just thinking in your head, Shaun White, gold. It's just something you've come to expect now. Definitely a few disappointments.
Even the guy that won it in the half pipe, what did he win it on? He had a trick called the YOLO trick?
Yeah.
That's something else. They call the guy iPod or something.
Oh,
his
yeah.
nickname iPod.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
That's yeah.
And Joel, another storyline in skiing. What can you tell me about that?
Skiing, well, it's like, you had Lindsey Vonn. She was battling so hard. She she blew out her knee in the World Cup over in Europe. She's trying to fight back, and she's not there. I mean, you're going to have a lot of young guns stepping up, a lot of unfamiliar names skiing there. And like touching base again, Bodie Miller, he didn't medal. I don't know. He's kind of a character.
All right, quick. What do you guys expect to see going forward in the Olympics?
Just hockey. I'm pretty much just going to be set on hockey, just watching hockey a lot, and we'll see what happens with hockey. So,
I'm going to be dialed into hockey too, but one thing that I like watching is the ski jumping, where the guys, they go off that huge jump.
That's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. And then like too, I'm going to watch I want to see Americans, they normally take the medal count and they normally win the most golds there. They haven't been that dominant this Olympics.
Tied for first right now. We'll see how they do. Coming up after the break, Sam Jones and I will be looking at NDSU men's basketball. We'll figure out what they need to do to reach that Summit League championship and how they can propel themselves to make a strong appearance in the NCAA tournament. All this coming up after the break.
Deeks Pizza. Prices with the student in mind. Fast delivery and conveniently open until 3 a.m. Order by phone at 701-235-0708. Order online at deekspizza.com or order with Deeks' easy-to-use mobile app. NDSU. Make Deeks your choice for pizza this semester. That's Deeks. Great pizza that won't empty your pockets.
The NDSU Bookstore, where every true fan and alum goes to get their pride on. Gear up with a variety of high-quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more. made by top-of-the-line brands like Under Armour, Nike, and CI Sport to help you show off your Bison pride. The NDSU bookstore has everything you need in your two favorite colors, green and gold.
Hey, I'm Mariah, and I'm at Bus because not only does it save me money, but with 20 different routes, it makes getting around Fargo much more convenient. I'm at Bus. Do you?
Deeks Pizza. Prices with a student in mind. Fast delivery and conveniently open until 3 a.m. Order by phone at 701-235-0708. Order online at deekspizza.com or order with Deeks' easy-to-use mobile app. NDSU. Make Deeks your choice for pizza this semester. That's Deeks. Great pizza that won't empty your pockets.
Hello and welcome back to Game Point. NDSU men's basketball is doing exactly what many expected. They are on top of the Summit League standings, are ranked high in among mid-major teams, and Taylor Braun is a Summit League MVP candidate right now, and they're securing tough conference wins on the road. With me now is SUTV sports reporter Sam Jones. Sam, NDSU men's basketball looking real good right now, getting some tough wins both at home and on the road. What can you say about it?
I am really proud of this team. They're doing really well. We got 4 players averaging double figures. There's about 5 players on the team that are going to reach the 1,000-point mark. 2 of them are already there. They are picking up right where they left off last year. They're on pace to more than likely get to the Summer League championship. This year, we were hoping for a different outcome. Last year, they lost to South Dakota State. Of course, they had Nate Walters. Now they don't have him. So I'd say the only thing that's standing in their way is themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the Summit League right now is a tough conference. A lot of good teams, but NDSU is pulling out those tough wins. So important. And so going forward, what do you think the NDSU men's basketball team needs to do in order to improve and push themselves to the top in order to secure that Summit League tournament championship and that NCAA tournament berth?
I'd say they need to play maybe more consistent on both ends because they lost to IPFW at their place in double figures, but then they beat them here in double figures. So I'd just say maybe just more consistency. Right now, they're averaging about 76 points per game. That's up from last year at 67 points a game, but their defense is down from last year in the points per game category. This year is at 67.2. Last year was 56.1. But they are shooting better from the field this season at about 50%. So there's some give and take here. They're obviously playing way better offensively. You got another year under the belt with Corey Brown. He's a sophomore now. Marsh, they're all seniors. They've been playing together for 4 years.
And talk a little bit about Corey Brown. I mean, he obviously from the very beginning that he was playing, he was the defensive guy. Just hustle on the defensive court, just all over the place. Offense, again, a little all over the place. But now he's getting double-digit figures in points. He's getting some assists. What can you say about his game in particular?
I say throughout this year he's improved on the offensive end. Obviously, when you have guys like when you have those guys come to the Wellness Center and play, they're obviously going to stand out. I've watched all of them play there, but on the court it's completely different when they're playing against their own talent. But I've seen him improve. He hustles. He does all the little things that don't show up in the box score. He'll get the rebounds and tip it back in. He'll deflect passes, and that may lead out to a Taylor Braun dunk or a Trayvon Wright dunk. He just does everything the team needs him to do, and while he's steadily improving his offensive game, his jump shot, his awareness on the offensive end, and I think that is going to take him far, especially once these seniors are gone.
Now, us sports guys, we love comparisons. Compare this team to the 2009 team that made the run into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, this team is looking poised to make that run. Definitely a good shot with SDSU losing Nate Walters, and NDSU was in the championship, Summit League championship last year. We're one game away from that berth. What do you see in comparison to this year's team to 2009 with Ben Woodside and those guys?
Well, in 2009, they had 3 players averaging double figures, with Woodside at 23. They had we have Taylor Braun, 18 points. But we have 4 players averaging double figures versus their 3, and then it just seems more balanced throughout. We have Feltz averaging 7, and then 2 players are averaging 6, while 2009, they had one guy averaged 9, that was Mike Tweet, and then the rest of it was just like 3 points a game after that. So we got more balance with the scoring, but they averaged more points per game and had a better scoring difference. They also had shot better from the three-point line. They averaged more team assists. But I still think this team is balanced, and this is probably the best team that we've seen since that 2009 team.
Absolutely. And Saul Phillips, I'm sure he's cracking jokes because he's feeling good right now. And so now, if we make that NCAA tournament, we have that. NDSU has that upset win over Notre Dame. Do you think that there's a possible chance that NDSU gets a better berth than a 13 seed like SDSU did last year?
There's a chance. I'm not really sure what all goes into the seeding. There's the RPI. We are top 5 mid-major in the polls right now, so that will factor in a lot. I'm not sure where SDSU ranked last year in the mid-major poll, but we're number 5, so that probably should get us pretty high. I'm pretty sure Wichita State's at the top of that list. They're undefeated. But I believe, we can get higher than 13. I actually think we have the potential to pull off an upset in the first round. If just depends on what team we play. We got, like you said, we got the upset against Notre Dame. We had the upset against Bryant. I believe that was an upset as well. That game against Ohio State was closer than what the final score indicated. So I see this team putting it together and doing something special this season.
A quick question. Wichita State, do you consider them a mid-major team? Because obviously they're ranked in the top 5 overall, and they're undefeated amongst great teams. Quick question, do you think that they're considered a mid-major team right now?
Right now, I'd still say yes because of the conference they play in. They're playing in the Missouri Valley Conference. There's not really any big schools in that conference. So that's one reason why they haven't moved up from like 4 or 5. Like, they keep staying in that position because they're not really facing anyone in their conference. It's like, oh wow, they beat this team, versus, oh wow, Syracuse just beat Pittsburgh. They're not playing any ranked teams in their conference. I mean, the same thing when you had Butler when they were doing good.
This is true.
Mid-major school, BYU, Jimmer Fredette, mid-major school. It's like they get good players for 4 years and then all of a sudden they drop off. So yeah, I still consider them a mid-major school because of the competition they have to play in their conference.
All right, let's make some final predictions. Do you think that NDSU secures that Summit League championship and goes to the NCAA tournament?
Yes, I do. I actually thought that before the season started, and I'm sticking with that. There's nothing that's happened this season that has changed my mind.
And do you think that they can make a possible run into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I see them getting to the NCAA tournament and winning that first game.
That's definitely possible. That's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning into Game Point. Make sure you tune to SUTV Channel 84 every Thursday for all your NDSU news and sports. For SUTV sports reporters Sam Jones, Joel Sipper, and Mitch Johnson, I'm Colton Poole. Thanks for watching and have a happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, I'm going to throw my chips.